Hello and welcome everyone again to another Halloween tutorial. Today we are looking at the 2022 Halloween window mural I made. As you may recall, last year I made another window mural that was my very first attempt at a mural ever, and although it looked pretty good, there were lots of mistakes that I wanted to fix that I fixed this year. I'm happy to say I fixed this year. So I filmed a lot of footage of this process, and it took longer than last year because I spent more time on it basically. But I have hours and hours and hours of footage, and I have two camera angles and lots of good stuff in that footage. So much that I can't fit on one video. So I'm going to be actually splitting this up into two. This video obviously is airing right now. This is going to be like the overview of the entire thing, more of the footage of the time lapse of the process, and then a little bit of the details in between. So then the second video, which is not coming out next week because I have other Halloween decorations I want to get out before Halloween in case anyone wants to do the project before Halloween. I'm going to save that video for after Halloween, so it'll actually, the video 2 of this project will come out November 2nd. So you'll get a deep dive on the process, because I actually filmed a lot of my thoughts during that I'm not going to be able to put on this video because there's like this video would be like 3 hours long, maybe even more. So I tried to keep this video shorter and more of a just general overview of the process. And for those of you who would like a more deeper dive into it, I'm going to make another video. If you saw my video from last year that I put out a couple weeks ago, I said in that video that I was going to do a comparison between last year's and this year's mural. That's not on this video, that's going to be on the second video. The video that I'm putting out 2 weeks from now, November 2nd. Part of the reason why I did better on this mural is because I was able to spend more time on it, and I planned more ahead of time, and I was more equipped to handle like the little mishaps that happened along the way. And I had time to handle the little mishaps that happened along the way, which helped a lot. So this year, the mural exceeded my expectations. I was really blown away by the results. It's crazy to think the difference a year makes when you work on your skills and keep moving and improving. Anyway, let's get to the tutorial. For Halloween Window Mural 2022, are you ready? So I first want to give a quick rundown on the layout and the dimensions I came up with for the middle window. That window was 66 inches wide and 41 3/4 inches tall. I knew that I wanted 3 things on that window: the word happy, the word Halloween, and the row of pumpkins on the bottom. I had also decided that I wanted the word Halloween to have letters that were bouncing up and down, and that I wanted happy to be in an arc above Halloween. I ended up with having 12 inches on the bottom for the pumpkin row, 15 inches for the bouncy Halloween letters, and 14 3/4 inches for the happy arc. Within those guidelines, I made more guidelines for a 1/2 inch margin between the pumpkins and the word Halloween, and I also made a 1 3/4 inch margin at the top of the window above the word happy. Then for the bouncy Halloween letters, I made 2 more lines, one down from the top of the guideline for Halloween, and one up from the bottom of the guideline for Halloween at 1.5 inches each. This was for the alternating bouncy letters. Then splitting the space vertically for the word Halloween, which has 9 letters, I ended up with 7 inches for each of the letter spaces, and 1.5 inches each for a margin on the left and right. I don't have a diagram made for this, but I also made guidelines for the letters in happy. They were 5 inches each, and the tops of the letters made an arc, but I don't have an exact measurement for that arc. So here you see me making the horizontal guidelines that separate the 3 elements on the middle window. So let me bring you closer so you can kind of see what I did. So this is the first one, that's 12 inches up. So the pumpkins are going to be below that. So I have 2 lines here. This one is bottom of the bottom letters that are resting on the bottom. And then these are the bottoms of the other letters that are jumping up. And then up here, this is the tops of the letters that are resting on the bottom. And this is the top of the ones that are jumping up. And then I have 3 lines up here because I'm not sure which one's gonna look better yet. I don't even need it all the way to this end. Really all I needed was in the middle here because I need to make the top of the arc at one of these lines and I don't know which one yet that I want. One thing I still need to do is get a margin in between, like maybe a ½ inch, maybe an inch, in between where the largest pumpkins are gonna be, because I don't want them running into the lettering because the lettering is gonna start here. So I need a little bit of a margin here, which I totally forgot about. But again, I don't need one on the bottom, so because the pumpkins are gonna be right on the bottom. So imagine whatever margin we have up here at the top is going to be in between, well, be in between the pumpkins and lettering rather than on the bottom. So it's a little asymmetrical. So what I'm doing is making a margin for the pumpkins. Okay, let's see what looks good. Look good. I think that would look good because I'm not going to, all the pumpkins are going to be different sizes as well. So like the tallest ones will be up to that level. So not everyone's going to be the same margin exactly. So let's do a ½ inch. I just need a little bit of space in between because we don't want it running into the lettering. Okay, so the 66 number, which is the width, I have to figure out now. There are 9 letters in Halloween, right? 9 times 7, so they'd be 7 inches each. And then I'd have 1.5 inches left over for the margin. So I guess that's what I'm doing. So then I need to make those lines. Double check here. I know it's backwards, but where are my marks? Okay. H-A-L-L-O-W-E-E-N. Perfect. All right, now I just have to make those go through these lines here for the lettering. I know you can't see anything on there, so I'm going to bring you closer. So you can kind of see this line coming up and down. It's kind of hard to see everywhere else. You see this one? Well, you can kind of see it up here. You can kind of see. So I decided I'm going to do the lettering for Halloween on the inside here. I'm going to be doing it backwards here because you're going to read it from the outside, like I said, and we're going to do the actual lettering on the outside. This is just going to be the 3D part, but what I'm doing is, I think I explained this before, but I'm going to make the letters here first, then I'm going to trace them on the outside when I do the more complicated design, and then I'm going to come back in here and do like a 3D effect. I should erase the margins I don't need. So this is going to go down to the bottom. So I don't need that one. So this one's going to be the same. I erased the portions of the guidelines I didn't need since some of the letters were up and some were down. I did this to avoid confusion, or further confusion. Now hopefully I don't mess up. And now I'm making temporary guidelines for the letters in Halloween. These were just rough sketches to give me something to reference when I made letters on the other side of the window. That's why they don't look so great. And here's a little view of those letters and the guidelines I made. This was all that I did on the first day of the project. Okay, I'm finally working on this project a little more. The main thing I'm going to work on today is the lettering on the outside for Halloween and the pumpkins along the bottom. So what I'm doing with the lettering is I'm going to make it like candy corn, so it's going to be white, orange, and yellow. I think that's the order. I'm going to have to check again just because it's a common Halloween thing. I know a lot of people don't like candy corn. For the lettering, I'm going to make some more guidelines in here before I start. I'm going to do like a third of the way down for these letters and a third of the way down for the top letters as well. And then, you know, divide them all into thirds, basically. So every other letter, I'm going to have to make 3 lines for, and every other letter, well, 2 lines. And every other letter the other way, I'm going to have to make separate lines because they're offset, they're bouncing. So I'm going to do that first, the guidelines, and then I'm going to go outside and do the lettering. All right, that's the first line. I need one more on all the letters. Well, it's hard to see from the other camera what I was doing, so I'm going to do the last line with this camera. Whoops. Now I'm just going to show you a little close-up. See the lines. Dividing in 3, not really thirds, but, you know, close enough. So that when we go on the outside, I can make 3 different block colors, like candy corn. So orange is the darkest color of the 3. So what I'm going to do is do the white and the yellow first and then do the orange over it, because it's better to do it that way, because if I did the orange first and I got a little orange into the white space, it might show through the white or the yellow. So I'm going to do the orange last, which I believe is the middle, and do the white and the yellow first. So we'll do probably white, yellow, and then orange. So that's what you're going to see. And I'm using, if I didn't already mention, I don't think I did, I'm using water-based markers because I'm not worried about this window getting rained on or water on it for the next couple weeks. We have a very big awning, overhang, whatever you want to call it. And I'm glad we're getting lettering on the outside this year because it'll be easier to see. That's a good thing. All right, let me just finish getting everything set up and we will start. For the white, I'm switching to this big Sharpie. So here is me starting to do the lettering on the outside of the window. This was something I changed from last year. Last year I did the Happy Halloween lettering on the inside, and it was really hard to see unless you were very close up to the window. And even then it was pretty hard to see. Let's see, what else can I do while I wait? I don't know, maybe think. Yeah, I could maybe make like circles down here for the pumpkins to outline them for when I draw them out there. And for the pumpkins, I'm going to do all different kinds of orange, different shades. Might be nice to have like a general shape when I go out there. So maybe that's what I'll do. I'll do some circles. I don't know how well you can see on there. Anyway, those are just guidelines. I can always change it out there a little. I can figure out how I want the arc to be for Happy. Because I only want it to be like a slight arc. I'm going to try something out here, see if it works. I don't really have string anywhere that I know of. I mean, I think I do. I just don't know where it is. So I'm trying to make an arc. Making this arc was an ordeal, but I eventually got one that worked. Okay, that worked out pretty well actually. Eventually. I mean, it's probably not perfect, exact, but it actually looks pretty good. Now I need to kind of figure out how I want the happy to go. Now I need to figure out the spaces for the letters. This is when I was figuring out the spaces for the letters in happy. It was a trial and error thing. I eventually found out that 5 inches each worked well. So it'd be here and here. And then we're just gonna make a line for all these that's level. H-A-P-P-Y. Well, let's see what that looks like when I sketch it in marker. And then I quick sketched in the letters for happy as well. I think this is probably dry enough where I can do another round. Get a more finished look on the white. We'll see how that turns out, and then I'll do the yellow. You know what though? Before I go out there, I want to make an outline of the faces on the pumpkin so I can draw around it when I'm out there. Now I gotta remember what kind of faces I wanted to make. Further explanation of each of the pumpkin faces will be available in part 2. Making both the general shapes, the circles and ovals, for the pumpkins, and the faces inside first for a reference was a good choice. It made it a lot easier to paint them on the outside. Ooh, it's cold out there. This paint marker, it's the first time I tried this brand. It might work for other things. It's not working very well in the window. I'm probably going to have to redo those. Because I don't think even with a second coat it's going to look good. But this is what it looks like for the first coat. Alright, well, the white and the yellow isn't really technically dry yet. What I can do is erase these in here and do the yellow on the inside of the pumpkin. I thought it might be cool if this kind of shined out on a few, so we'll try this on a, you know what, this would be a good one to try on there. Let's see. Ooh, it's really neon. Yes, I messed up this eye over here. I don't know how well you can see. And I was like, really? And then I didn't fix it, but I can go do that. Maybe I'll do that right now. Okay, so Chaz is awake, but he's not in the room right now. He gave up. He might have went back to sleep. I don't know. I haven't checked on him. But I'm gonna get these, see what these eyes look like from the outside once I get some yellow on here. Like I said, this is very fluorescent. I got other colors too. Again, I've never tried this before, so we'll see. Which one do I want to do yellow? Let's do this one. So, my camera footage from the inside view here dips down and goes back up. I think I finally figured out what happened there. I think I knelt on the charging cord that was attached to my phone. For a brief minute, though, I thought it might have been a ghost. How appropriate that would have been, right? All right. So let's go see what that looks like from outside. You want to go outside? Come on, let's look at the pumpkins. Come on. Come on. Come on. What's wrong? Don't you want to come out? All right, so as you could see, some of them looked okay, but a lot of them I needed more down here. And some of them I can barely see. So I have to make sure I get that. So I'm gonna let that dry first because otherwise it's gonna get all messed up. I guess I can start working on the lettering for happy. That's what it looks like. I'm gonna erase the inside now. Talk about slight arch, like very slight, but that's all right. That's what I wanted, sort of. I might, when I go and do this again, I might bring this down a little to kind of match with the Y that came down a little. The P's, I gotta do something about those. All right, so I think I might try again with the yellow and the white to do another coat. And then do the orange. Well, I have to wait for it to dry, I guess, the white and yellow. I can do the stems on the pumpkins. I can start the spider and the spider web on the sides. See how much we can get done today. What are you doing? Trying to trip me? Yes, he was trying to trip me, and I have the footage to prove it. You'll see it in the bonus footage. So, the small marker wasn't working very well. Went back to the big chisel. It looks better on the outside. Most of the letters. This one's a little messed up. Yellow, I don't know how I'm going to fix that. Just going to do my best. I'll go do that now. Work on the yellow. Then I'll come back in. So, foreshadowing, one of the things we're going to talk about in part 2 of the deep dive video is how much easier it is to see this design. 1, I again did all the major painting on the outside rather than the inside. And 2, there's a lot of contrast between the colors. Both of these things make it so much easier to see and make it a much better statement overall. And they really get the message across. It's easy on the eyes and it's easy to read. And you can see it from far away. I tried to keep the strokes consistent with the orange as much as possible. So it looks better than the yellow for sure. We'll see how I feel. I'm going to let that dry. I'm probably not going to do anything more with the letters today. So I'm just going to erase. I'm going to do that real quick now while the video is still going. Here's a view from the inside. This was the end of day 2, and this was the day I was really impressed in the end. If you follow me on any of my social media channels, you may have seen me post a video about how impressed I was with the mural at that point. A big improvement from last year for sure. Welcome to day 3 of the mural. Just a recap of what it looked like on the inside. I haven't really done anything since then. I'll talk about what I'm going to do in a minute. By the way, I'm well aware I'm missing a button. You don't need to tell me. The washer ate it. So, what I'm going to start off with today is I'm going to redo these pumpkins, these two here. Can't tell so much from this side. Well, you may be able to tell. But that was the ones I did in with this marker that really wasn't working very well. Anyway, I'm gonna probably try this instead for the orange, one of this instead for those pumpkins. We'll see how that looks. What I'm gonna have to do is make the whole circle and then probably take a Q-tip and erase the eyes and the mouth again, so we have to try to remember what they look like. So I'm gonna have to do that probably, but we'll see how this looks. I might have to use one of the other pens I used, and I'm trying to do different colors, trying to mix it up a little, but So do that. I'm also gonna fix the insides again, make sure they're covered well, and then do some more fine tuning on the letters. Like there's a little bit that's outside the lines that I want to get. I might fill in this yellow a little more on this side of the yellow because these two were the first ones I did and they worked out pretty well. I'll probably leave those alone. But the ones that are kind of in the middle, because I did try to do these again. It looks fine the way it is. It's just bothering me just a little bit. So I'll see what I can do there. If not, I'll leave it. I need to thicken up these letters a little more because I want to be able to make a 3D kind of thing from that. Speaking of 3D, it's another thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to come in here and do 3D on the lettering here. On this, on Halloween for sure. I think I'm going to do happy as well today. We'll see. Otherwise, I'll do that tomorrow. Next phase I want to work on after that, after fixing all of this window, is the side windows. I'm going to do the spider web and the spider and the stuff that's stuck in the spider web. So that's my goals for today. I want to get a big chunk of it done today though, so I should stop rambling and start working. So first thing I'm going to do is the pumpkins outside. And I'm not sure if I have to erase it or if I can do it over it. We'll see. So I'm going to do that. I might, even without coming back in, start on the fine-tuning the lettering. So I don't know when we'll talk next. We'll see. I'm going to use a straight blade to try to get most of that orange off, and then I'm going to use acetone afterwards. The water wasn't working. I'm not sure. Is this paint marker oil? It says water-based. But it wasn't coming off very easily, so I'm going to use this. Yes, this particular paint marker was just awful. It didn't flow consistently, so the paint looked all splotchy, and it didn't come off easily either. Bad choice. That's done. I can do a little more cleanup on that, but so I'm going to redo those pumpkins now. The orange one of this was working kind of the same as that, so I'm just going to get another orange marker or two that I already used. So I redid those pumpkins that were made with the bad marker. If I would have known that the marker was bad and I wasn't going to use it, I would have mixed the orange colors up a little more for the other pumpkins, because I wanted them all to be unique in color, style, and face. But I also wanted them to not be the same color as the one next to them. Oh well, not a huge deal, it still worked out. And now I'm doing some letter refining, which I definitely needed to do. Doing those color blocks for the candy corn colors made it difficult to keep the lines consistent from one color to the next. Had a few bumps in the road, but pretty good on that. We'll do a final fine-tuning on the lettering later. I do want to do the inside of the pumpkins here, especially the ones I redid. And then I'm going to start on the 3D on here. I think actually I'm going to wait on that because I have I didn't do the fine-tuning on the rest of the pumpkins, and there's this one for sure I need to work on. So I guess I'll start on the 3D. The 3D on the inside was a similar challenge because it was the same with the color blocking, but it was worth it because in its final form, it really does look great, in my opinion at least. By the way, just wondering, how is this split view camera working? How is this split view working with the two different camera angles? Do you like it, or is it too distracting? I thought since I had both the inside and outside view with working on a large window that I could show it from both inside and outside at the same time, and I thought that might be helpful, but maybe I'm wrong. I'll leave this for now, and then I'm going to start on the side windows next. Here are some views of the 3D lettering when it was complete. Alright, so I'm going to make a spider head out here because I'm actually going to put the body back here. So it's coming out a little bit. So, head somewhere around the window. I'll decide when I get out there. Then I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to put like eyes and a mouth and fangs on it. But that's after this dries. Alright, let that dry, maybe put another coat on. We'll see. I'm going to put legs on eventually, but first I want to get the web in here, but I'm probably going to start on the other window first for that. Alright, going to start on the web. Think about this a minute, because I might start this one in this corner and go up, and then that one down. The web was sort of tricky to do. It was a good thing I bought that new flexible yardstick and the maul stick. I really needed those for this part. I also decided to make the lines thicker and give them a fuzzy quality. Alright, one last look outside to see how that looks. Looks pretty good. Should probably put the spider legs in, at least the ones back here, first before I do the web. But then again, I don't know where the spider legs are gonna go according to the web. So maybe I should make the web first, at least that straight line, and then put the legs in. Some of the legs are gonna go outside too, so. And this web is gonna be opposite. That one came from the bottom right corner, this one's gonna come from the top left. I also want to say that I know I'm not the greatest artist. My main forte is lettering and florals, but ultimately this mural was for kids that come trick-or-treating at my house, so it's okay if the art looks a little goofy or kiddish. And this was the end of day 3. Well, it's the fourth and final day here on our mural. So today, the biggest part of what I have to do is I need to put all the things I want caught in the web on the web. I'm gonna do that first for a couple reasons. One of them is I want them to dry because I want the web to kind of go around it. So I'm gonna put like a little bit of the gray color around it. So I want it to dry so I can do that later, or at least dry enough. And it's the thing that's gonna probably take the longest, so I wanna get it done first so I know how much time I have for the rest of the stuff. So other than general cleaning up and fine tuning, we need to put the stems on the pumpkins. And I'm gonna put a little more detail on the spider. I need to make the legs thicker for one thing, but I also want to put a little like hair on the spider. So I'm going to do that actually. I might do that first before I do the icons, or I might do the icons and then that. Doing that all first so I can get that dry so I can add the things to it on top. Chazzy's back. He wants to go outside. All things considered, I could leave this the way it is now and be happy with it, but I want to add these things that I said I was going to add. But that should be it for today. Of course, it was freezing on these last 2 days that I was doing this mural. The joy of living in Wisconsin. I look forward to the Christmas mural I plan on doing. I made 2 things caught in the web so far, a little piece of candy and a ghost. I did the eyes and the fangs on the spider. You know what I didn't do though? The legs. I'm probably gonna have to go out there and do that again real quick. The next round when I go out there, I'll do the stems on the pumpkins. So for now, I'm gonna warm up and do some fine tuning. And no one's gonna be looking at this that closely, except for me. So, here, let me get out of your way here. Can you even tell the difference? Does it look better? So, I messed up a lot of the camera footage on this last day. First of all, the wind in the outdoor shots was making the camera shake, so I'm sorry about that. But also, there were a few times one or both of the cameras turned off without me noticing. But at least I got most of the process on video. All right, so let all that dry for a bit. So these were a little tall when I went out there, so I want to quickly get that. Good. So what I can work on in here is pumpkins. I didn't really take a good look at them. I mean, I think they're mostly okay. I just want to make sure that all the things are covered. I know this one, I do want to touch up on the outside. I keep forgetting about that. But I'll do that when I go out again the last time, hopefully. I can work on the legs in here. And then, after that, and I get the web around the stuff on the web, I think I'm done. Gonna work on the spider legs in here. All right, fuzzy legs. It's like the fuzzy web. Alright, I'm gonna go fuzzy up the head. You know what I mean? And check and see if this arm is disconnected. Then I'll connect it. So I decided, it's a good thing I decided, to add like the shoulders of the spider coming out that way as well, because otherwise it was like the head that's on the bottom and the arms, but the rest of the body was stuck inside. It looked kind of funny. So anyway, it looks better now. Just because I'm thinking about it now, I'm gonna go out, fine tune that pumpkin, and then I'll look at the rest of them, make sure they have a coverage. I mean, they're all fine. I could do a little more. I hesitate to do anything with anymore with the lettering, like outline it, because it looks fine the way it is. The only thing I'm looking at when I'm out there is I need like something else to put here in the web. So I gotta think of something. What else could I do? Bat, cat, ghost, candy, lollipop, witch's hat, witch's broom, witch's cauldron. Could have done, but now I have 3 witch things over here and a lot of black too, so I want something else. An eyeball. I could do an eyeball. Just a random eyeball caught in the web, you know. I'm just gonna do the white part right now. Well, maybe I'll do the pupil. I'll do like a green. Could use some green. Anyway, I thought this would be cute to have, like, I don't know if anyone's going to, but like the little kids come up and be like, oh, what's that? It's a lollipop and an eyeball in the web. What do you see? We'll see if anyone does. It's real bright green, but that's all right. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I need the black for a pupil. I mean, probably should do red, but I'm gonna do like red veins in it. So I'll do green, because I said we need some green. Okay, I will go do that. The main thing I want to do now is wait until the web is, or the things in the web are dry, and then just do a web over them. And I'm gonna add red to the eyeball as well, so that one's gonna take the longest to dry. So, because I just did it. So I'll go out, I think, one more time, finish that up. Everything else should be good. I mean, I'll check when I'm out there, but that's gonna be a bit. I'm gonna let it dry for like an hour or so. All right, I'm ready to finish up. So I'm gonna start over on this side. Need to put eyes on my ghost over there, and then I need to do the web around those two things. And then on this side, need to put red on the eyes, and then finish up with the web. But I also want to make the brim of the witch's hat a little bigger. Is that better? Can you see? All right. And get this done so I can come in here and warm up and be done. Final inside view. But anyway, that is the general overview for this week. Not next week, but the week after, November 2nd, I'm going to be releasing part 2 of this project, which is going to be more of the behind the scenes, deep dive, detailed explanation of everything I did along the way, and a comparison with last year's mural. But for this week, this is it. Stay tuned for the bonus footage and sneak peeks. Thanks for watching. All right, everyone. That is going to do it for this week's video. Stay tuned until the very end. I've got some bonus footage and sneak peeks for you. But first, I want to thank you, yes you, for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you found it to be helpful, use those buttons. If you want to see more, you can follow Shrush Design on social media. The links are all in the description. And if you would like to browse my online shops, I have 2 Etsy shops and a Fiverr account, also listed below. If you are local to southeastern Wisconsin, I have even more services available, so you'll want to check out my website for that information. But wait, there's more! If you happen to be planning a wedding in the near future, I have another YouTube channel called Shrush Design Weddings, through which I discuss all of the choices you'll have while planning your wedding. And I also have another channel called Poised Pencraft, through which I teach the art of lettering, calligraphy, and some graphic design skills if you want to learn how to create your own designs from scratch and make each project truly your own. Links for both of those channels are, you guessed it, in the description. So if you're all subscribed now and ready for next week's video, I'll see you then. For now though, I'll leave you with the bonus footage and sneak peeks. Enjoy! So for bonus footage this week, as usual, I've got some Assistant Chaz stuff. He actually didn't get that involved in this project again, like last week with my menu boards. He was there occasionally, but he wasn't as involved as last year. He wasn't sitting on my shoulder and trying to bat my marker away like he was last year. So that was nice. But he did try to trip me. And then I have some just little things along the way. So I hope you enjoy. Stay tuned for sneak peeks as well. Chazzy wanted to go outside. Now he's probably pouting. Should I go wake him up? What are you doing? Trying to trip me? You're gonna trip my camera. Come here. Hey. Look at Chazzy. Look what he's doing. It's the only time he decides to climb up there is when I'm doing a window. I don't even know how he got up there. Here I am thinking I'm drawing on Procreate, and if I just hold it there, it'll snap into place, but obviously not, because this isn't Procreate. doing it again. Quick shapes on Procreate. Got my mind. Like, oh, I can just, you know, make a rough circle and then hold my pen and then bang, there's a circle. Nope. It does not happen in real life. Now I'm trying to undo with Procreate. It's not working. I wonder why that is. That's a design flaw. Can't put your cap on there. I'll keep it in here. It's up too far. Let's try that again. That was a lapse in judgment. Not my first, not my last. So for the sneak peeks this week, I don't have any footage ready and available for this video, but I'll tell you what I have planned for the next few weeks. Next week on October 26th, I have a tutorial on some more Halloween signage and decor projects. The week after that, as I've mentioned before in this video, November 2nd, is part 2 of this video, which will again be more of a deep dive and comparison with last year's mural. I have way more footage than I showed in this video. I think it'll be helpful, so if you're really interested, you'll want to see that video. The week after that, on November 9th, I plan on releasing a proper introduction to who I am and what Shrush Design is, plus I'll give a little tour of my studio and how it is set up currently. I never really got a chance to do that because I started this channel right before October and I had a bunch of Halloween stuff I wanted to give out. And I had that yard game scoreboard video, which was my first video that I filmed in the summer and kept putting off and putting off and putting off. And then it was time to put it out right before Halloween, so I didn't get a chance to really make a good intro video on who I am and what this channel is going to be about and what my company is going to be about. So if you're interested in that, that will be coming up on the 9th. And then I have a few more things coming up later in November that I will tell you about soon. Plus in December, I will begin Christmas decor and signage videos as well. So that's what you have to look forward to for the rest of the year, more or less. I will see you next week with some more Halloween decor tutorials. Bye.